Hi Shefali, hi Rishi.
Hi.
Welcome to India Times. While I would like to talk to you for about an hour or so, or more than that, about the entire series, unfortunately I think we have 20-25 minutes, so it's going to be more of a small talk.
Oh.
So, the case of 2012 actually was one of the most heinous crimes I think the nation has ever seen. It shook the nation to its core. It sort of questioned everybody's conscience and in a way started a larger conversation about crimes against women. What was it that motivated you to take the narrative of the team actually who was solving the case?
The long story in small talk is I had a family friend in the Delhi police, and he had recently retired 6 years back, just after this crime. And he had suggested I make a film of this subject. He'd seen my previous films I'd shot in Delhi. And I thought it was not right. I thought nobody should be making a film about this, certainly not me. But then he said, read the verdict. It had just come out. So I read the verdict. And then he said, I'll introduce you to the cops who were involved in this case if you want. And for me, it was just a human thing to do. I was in a position where I could speak to some of these people who would have more insights into what you said. This crime, it questioned our own conscience and made us examine a horror and evil in a way we'd never contemplated. With all kinds of issues surrounding it. And we were all grappling with it. So I said, I'd like to meet these people if possible. And I met them. And then I got to know them as people. And I got to know that these are the people who are fighting this for us. These are the people we task with maintaining law and order for us. These are the people where anger was pointed towards them directly during this time in such a grand scale. And when coupled with the public domain information I read about the case and getting to know them, I realized this was an incident where they really tried to do the right thing. They tried to do the best they can, and they achieved something almost impossible. They caught these guys in 5 days, having no information about them. Total blind case.
Started from zero, like.
Yeah, and in a place like this, how do you find somebody who doesn't want to be found? So, and the process of that journey of finding those people, it was so vast and complicated and varied that within that, it's an exploration of why this happens. Each person is apprehended, more information is acquired, more insights revealed. And so I felt this could be a way for us to re-examine this now through the eyes of people who don't usually have a voice.
How much time did it zero in on the idea that, okay, this is going to be my narrative and probably this is the final script, I'm done, dusted, and enough people have read it now?
So it was 6 years on the project total, from 2013 till now. 4 years in research and writing. And within those 4 years, that decision was made at some point because I would gather the information and then start to just sort it out in a way that I understood it, in a timeline almost, of this happened, then this happened, then this happened. And then as I talked to more people, I would add to that timeline of, well, this happened and this is an insight I just received about it from a very humane point of view. And then I would add those insights through. And then I just started forming it like an accordion. It started blossoming. And then at some point, I decided, I think I can make this into a narrative, which would be compelling for a viewer, but more importantly, something positive could come from it. So that was somewhere around between 3.5 to 4 year mark.
So, Shefali, one thing I wanted to ask you that, so your character is based on Chaya Sharma, the DCP who was handling the case at that point of time. How much did you get to interact with her when you were preparing for the role, and was it just like a meeting or two and probably just getting an understanding about it, or did it span a lot of time?
It was a meeting. Yes, over coffee actually. Probably 2 hours or 3 hours, I don't remember. And there were questions that I had which I asked her. But I had the access to send her a text every time I had a question on a daily basis. And she would respond. What she contributed made a lot of difference to what Vartika becomes. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that probably nobody will register, but it mattered to me, it mattered to him. So I remember this instance where later on, the scenes that come, and there's the interrogation scene, and I wanted to roll my sleeves up. And I messaged her. I said, can I roll my sleeves up? For anyone else, it's a really silly question.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But there's a protocol of uniform. You have to maintain. Oh. So I asked her, but what she told me was a very interesting insight to it. She said, December, Delhi, extremely cold. No power in the cop station. You can't roll your sleeves up. It was such a simple thing. At the same time, she'd say, you're 5 days in the cop station. You I'd throw my shoes off. I'd take my shoes off.
Practically living there
But
now.
it just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
You know, so stuff like this. And she was there to indulge it. I think it's just...
Great. I think you had a nice bouncing board in that case, to develop the character in your head, for that matter.
Bouncing board would be this.
Okay.
She was almost, I mean, like, come on. Even if I was not doing this, and even if I'm not an actor, just watching something like this, I'd be like, if I was watching this as an outsider, I'd be like, whoa, I want to meet this woman. She is incredible.
There's one gripe I think all the audience has probably had with you, which is, like, I've been a big fan of your work. This is in no means to make you feel old or anything, but as a
You've
kid...
been seeing it since you were a kid.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard that.
This is back from, like, the days of Hasrante, and initially my mom used to force me कि नहीं अभी
नहीं देख सकते.
नहीं कार्टून नहीं देखना, ये देखो ये अच्छा है.
क्या बात कर रहे हो?
वो
You're
होता-
one of those few ones that the parents allowed to watch Hasrate.
The 90s, moms and kids, like, they fell in love with the show actually. So, and the character grew on them. So, which is why when my mom saw Dil Dhadakne Do, she was like, "Arey, ye to wahi hai na jo pehle." And I'm like, and she remembered Shefali Shah actually, and because
It's okay,
that's
no. It's fine.
Yeah, I think long story short, why aren't we seeing enough of you?
Well, I'd love to do more work, but over time I've realized that the kind of work I want to do may not come.
Is it more
regularly.
like typecasting, but
No.
you're getting certain roles only?
It's just there are some interesting roles that are offered. There's some interesting projects, but then it's the kind of work I have done. I don't have a lot on my resume, but what I do have, I'm very proud of. So if something comes to me, I have to really want to be on that set. I should be obsessed with it, or else it's really not fair more to the maker than me. Because I'd go there and I'd do my job and I'd be like, yeah, okay, fine, nice. But this one, like this, I kill for this one. You know, it's just that. So earlier it used to bother me that, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. No, it doesn't. I just realized that, well, something that you want to do, something special, takes time. So it could be a year, it could be 2 years. And special doesn't mean it has to be the lead, or it has to be commercial film, or it has to be spread over.
It could be a short film, it could be anything. It could be anything.
It could be 2 minutes in a...
Ad film, or maybe a long...
2 minutes in a film. 2 minutes, 5 minutes in an 8-hour thing. But if it makes sense to me, if it excites me, I will do it.
So this is a question to both of you actually, because we just saw like 2 episodes of it, and we could feel a lump in our throats even while talking about it and discussing it, and the entire room was very uncomfortable. I'm sure you guys must have gone through an emotional roller coaster yourself while scripting it out, while playing the part, while talking to the people. What was it like to go through that emotional roller coaster, and do you think you will come out of it anytime soon? Because
I have not come out of it yet. I'm still in it. I'm still finishing the show in the next few days. So just little details I have to take care of. So I've been in it for 6 years. I took a 9-month break to make another film called India in a Day, which was a wonderful, life-affirming project. And then I kind of plunged back into this. And the first few years was a torturous process to linger and linger and linger on these things. But at the same time, for me to understand these people who are dealing with it on a daily basis, it's part of their life. And if I don't understand it, how can I possibly hope to have these characters that are, in a way, inspired, very much inspired by them. So it was, you read the verdict, you read some of the medical reports, you read the details of what happened, and it's anguish. Why would anyone want to linger in this world? Those are questions I kept asking myself. But then when I realized something positive could potentially come out of this experience for me, and if it works for other people who experience it, though it's a very precarious line to walk to get to that point, that it was contained in this series and people got from watching it something very positive. So I'm still in it. This week has been really interesting, speaking to people like you about it. There's a catharsis for me happening to open up about it
it's
again.
almost like you're letting out like 4 years somewhere.
Yeah, certainly. And it helped when I was collaborating with them about it, because it's, amazing people are now in the folds, and I get to discuss it with them and try and work it out with them. So that was also amazing. But then you dive back into the edit. It's solitude. Me and Beverly and the editor were working on it. And then Andrew, our composer, he was inspired to make music. But you're talking about the ideas of it all the time. You're lingering in it, really lingering in it. So it still continues to be very, very tough. And I don't know when I'm going to get out of it. I mean, certainly when it launches, it'll be the start for me coming out of it. I think her experience was different because she was also living it, representing these emotions, the personification of it.
There's no other way of doing this unless you're completely...
Through and through in it.
Completely, yeah. And when you do something which is... Well, there's certain things you just do as a project. And then there are certain things which will always stay with you.
Tend to become like a learning curve.
This is definitely my learning curve. Definitely. Whether it's interpreted on screen, what it does. I mean, it's great that all you guys could appreciate it. What happens from here on, I do not know. But for me, this has been extremely enriching.
And when it comes visually, like there were a few things that we were observing when, like, even we, like, a couple of, like, the writers, we were internally discussing that the camera is not fixed.
Never.
Like, it's never, especially in the control room where the discussions are happening. So you feel like you're a part of the investigation. Like the camera actually walks to the other room to listen what's happening on the conversation. So that was like a deliberate call.
Very much. I mean, the whole, every shot is handheld. Again, our cinematographer, Johan Eit, is a total genius, as well as an expert camera operator. And the whole show, it was on the camera was on his shoulder, and he was walking. So he was a person he was a bystander in every scene. And obviously, there's a specific point of view that we're taking, but oftentimes, where can we fit the bystander?
Very theatrical way of shooting where you don't have to pay attention to the camera, it's just around there.
I mean, they do, because again, otherwise
of course,
she's going to hit her
into
head, right? Yeah. But no, it was very, very much part of the design of the whole thing. It had to be. And look, I mean, we have tripods here and stuff. I never saw a tripod. I tried a tripod once when we did like a rooftop shot of the city.
Okay.
Otherwise, there was no track, there was no Steadicam, there was nothing. I've never worked on a project with the character of the cinematographer, the person, Johan, and his feelings about this are as much a part of every scene as every actor. They have an equal share. So, I wish he was here. He's in New York right now, but there's another person who is a character who is in every scene of this thing, which is him.
Which is the audience now.
Which is the audience.
Which is the audience. Yeah. There are a few things that I think I also observed, which, like, the things that I were actually hitting to me as like a Delhiite was, it's the street I've been on. It's the place I've visited. I hang out with my friends there. Still something like this happened. Like, you can't grapple with the entire emotion of, I think, reading it, because back then a lot of people did feel a bit depressed when they read the FIR actually. But seeing it like a visual representation of it as it happened, I'm like, we cross the highway every day. And that's the spot. Oh my God. So I think you've done a commendable job in like sort of recreating, and I wish you guys luck for it. I'm hoping that, don't know whether people are going to binge watch on it for 7 episodes or not, because I think it's something that you'll take a bit of time to sort of let it develop on you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for very, very thoughtful insights.
Cool. Thanks. Great having a small talk with you guys.